Commence primary ignition.
Hey, this is Obi Tahi. I play Dr. Pershing, and you are watching the Virtual Cantina Network.
I love it. Never fails.
Where's his
It never-
theme music?
Oh yeah, his music didn't kick in. Weird.
Yeah, his music.
well,
That's a big
I didn't hear it. That's weird. Hi everyone. Happy Monday, citizens. Welcome to Clone Wars Revisited live on the Virtual Cantina Network. We are your hosts. I'm Mark. I'm here with Ashley and Skip. And tonight we're watching Season 1, Episode 2 of The Clone Wars, Rising Malevolence.
Ooh.
All right. Happy Monday, everyone. How was everyone's weekends?
It's been a rough weekend, but we're here. Just hanging in there, taking it day by day, and hopefully getting better. Had a little accident at work, and just still kind of recovering from it. But I'm here. I'm here with you guys, and that's the best thing I can say right now.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you made it.
Thank
Because we don't have Daughters of the Galaxy this week. So this is your one and only shot to see Ashley Branzo on the VCN this week. We're doing
Right.
a re-air on Wednesday. So although you can watch the re-air, I guess.
Mark
We're doing a
Evers.
re-air of the Witches of Dathomir on Wednesday because it is
Yes.
spooky season.
Oh yes, and
Are you
it'll
getting in
be-
this spooky mood?
Oh yeah, I love it. I've been watching like the 31 Nights of Halloween on Freeform, watching my spooky movies, contemplating a Fall of the House of Usher rewatch because I'm meeting the Flaniverse crew, the cast of the Fall of the House of Usher again. You say again for Kate and Mike, but I've never met Carla Gugino. I've never met Raul Coley. So I'm really excited to meet them on Sunday at New York Comic Con. If you're going, come say hi. I'll be around somewhere. Mark will be there on Thursday with me, causing chaos for a little while at least.
Yeah. There's a lot of things happening.
Busy week.
Yeah, and spooky season really starting off because it's actually cold today in New York for the first time in a while. Skip, how are you celebrating spooky season? I know things are still a little strained down where you are, and you said you're still on the Starlink, right?
Yeah, I'm still on the Starlink, so if I phase in, no, that's just me playing. In and out. That's just the internet connection. No, we start the spooky season with the official season of the official beginning of the season is my sister's birthday. Nicole, his birthday is October 15th, and she loves Halloween. We used to always go over to her house. She lived in this neighborhood where all the kids came to trick or treat. And so we would go and buy candy and sit at her house all night long. I mean, because once you got there, you couldn't get out because of the traffic. And all the parents would be bringing their kids by all dressed up, and we'd be handing out candy all night and be drinking and having a good old time. But now we all live so far away from everything that I would be concerned if a trick-or-treater came to my door.
Yeah, like this is a break-in.
How did you find me?
Yeah. How did you get
that's
past
cool.
the gate down at the bottom of the hill?
It sounds like your sister's house was kind of like. Do you remember the Halloween episode of WandaVision?
Oh yeah.
Like where they're all just wandering around the neighborhood and it's like aggressive trick or treating. I loved it so much, and that's what your sister's house sounds like to me.
It absolutely was, and she's just, I tell everybody my sister's the life of the party. I mean, if you want to have a good time, we invite Nicole because she's going to make sure it's a good time. So I'm very excited for her birthday. Things are, I will say that things are significantly better than they were last week, and
Good.
and people are, what's happening is they're starting to work to the farther stretches. Even Burnsville. Actually, I have a client that I built a house that's everybody's heard of, Chimney Rock and Lake Lore, if you've paid any attention to the news in the area. And these people live like one town over in a place called Girton. And I was over there, and we were kind of concerned. Fortunately, we put solar power on this lady's house, and a bunch of trees that were maybe shadowing the house are no longer there. And her neighbors in the development on each side of her had mudslides. So she was very lucky that the ground around her development did not give in, even though her whole front entrance road was gone. But her power was fed from over in the Chimney Rock area, and they switched it to come from Fairview. So they actually got power today. Today was our first day with power and
good.
Some other stuff. So things are, even in the far stretches, things are getting better. And it's, I imagine they actually started putting water in the Asheville City water system, which was a big deal.
It's crazy to think that like water is still an issue.
Well, so the water right now, get this, Mark, you'll love this. The water is useful for one thing and one thing only, and it's flushing toilets. And I can't tell you how many people that are getting that water that said to me today, I don't care. It's just so cool to be able to flush my toilet.
What a time. This is the year 2024, people. And I want everyone to think we found the little time travel via Time Heist. But yeah, this is insanity, especially not a week later, another storm hitting, and 2 storms in a row in Florida, and then going right up the coast. It's kind of unprecedented for this hurricane season. We are at the end of hurricane season now, though, right? Like, isn't it kind of over?
Yeah, it's till the end of October.
Yeah. As it gets into November, it goes away.
Yeah.
But this is why I'm here, because this is my escapism for the night.
Good. Good. So let's not talk about the hurricanes, but we get to know that you are doing okay.
Spencer says you're connected to SkiNet. So
yes. We have Mr. Musk to thank,
Oh boy.
Or the people around him to thank.
Yes.
It's more like
the brains are on him.
The actual brains.
On our agenda tonight, we did want to cover a little bit of spooky season stuff. One, we wanted to make sure we checked in with Skip, and Skip's able to join us, which is great. We're obviously going to watch the episode, season 1, episode 2, production order of
Sorry,
the Clone
Sarah.
Wars. And then New York Comic Con coming up. We wanted to talk a little bit about what was on our agendas for New York Comic Con. And if anyone in the chat is going, please tell us what you have planned. So Ashley, I know you're doing 2 days at New York Comic Con, Thursday and Sunday. Tell everyone a little bit about like what's on your agenda. What do you have planned and everything?
So Thursday morning, as soon as I get into the city, I'm gonna literally run the mile to the Javits from the Port Authority, because who's got time for an Uber? And go to the Penguin.
You'll get there faster by walking. Don't worry.
Oh, absolutely. Penguin panel all the way at 11 a.m. So I will be there getting to see Kristen Milioti, Colin Farrell, that marvelous makeup team. The showrunner Lauren, they're all going to be there, and they're going to be talking about, the latest episode of The Penguin and what's happening, and I'll get like a little extended peek into it. So that's at 11 a.m. I have a photo op with Haley Atwell at 1:40. Gonna get an autograph from her again. I met her at Boston Comic Con in 2014, I think. So it's been a while, and it'll be good to see her and just kind of say hey to Captain Carter. I'll have to dish out my Captain Carter hot toys and see if she can sign the base for me. Let's see. And then Sunday is the big day. We have the Mike Flanagan, his wife, Kate Siegel, Carla Gugino from Watchmen and all the Flaniverse projects, and Raul Coley from iZombie and the Flaniverse projects. They're doing a Fall of the House of Usher group photo, and I'm getting Carla and Raul's autographs, and then John Boyega will be there on Saturday and Sunday. So I'm getting to meet John, I'm getting to meet Finn. I'm so excited.
John's awesome. You're gonna love him.
Oh yeah, I know. I was talking to Mark about this, and I was like, he's like, he is one of the nicest people on the planet, and I was just like, yeah, this is so good. I love when people like live up to the hype, so I'm excited. And
Nice.
That's
You have,
my weekend.
You're there Thursday, Sunday.
Mhm.
I'm going to be there Thursday. So for anyone looking for me, De Nuevo Novo does not have a booth at New York Comic Con,
Which
but I am
is
helping out.
shocking.
It's not. I mean, we decided to basically not do the con circuit this year. We didn't have a lot of new development.
I
There
understand.
wasn't a celebration. These things are exhausting. And as I remind people all the time now, I oversee a whole portfolio. I can't be just paying attention to De Nuevo Novo. And so it was really necessary for me to skip this con season, especially when there's so many trade shows on the agenda too. I feel like all I
Yeah.
did was go to trade shows this year. But De Nuevo, even though we don't have a booth, a bunch of new stuff is in stock. The Death Trooper helmet, the Death Trooper Specialist helmet, the Death Trooper Concept helmet, which is the white one, the Bo-Katan helmet, and then the Sabine helmets are on the water, all three of them, the season 2, the season 4, and the season finale. The series
no
finale, I
way.
should say. So, which I'm very excited about because it looks like the live action one in Ahsoka, but it's the sculpt that we used for Rebels, right? So it's just a
Oh, I'm
repaint.
so
But
excited.
it looks really cool. But those are all coming. So we have news, but not worthy enough to like set up a booth and everything. But that being said, my parent company, Ad Populum, which owns NECA and Kid Robot and Inesco and a bunch of others, they have a big series of booths. So there's a NECA booth, of course, like there always is.
Love their
Inesco will
stuff.
be there and Kid Robot. And so I'll be working at the Kid Robot booth. I have no idea what the booth number is, but I will be there on
You'll
Thursday.
probably be in the block.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
They're all right next to each other, so
Yeah.
it's one big like row. But I'll be in the Kid Robot booth for the first half of Thursday, and then I'll be
Ooh, okay.
walking around, sort of scoping out like what's happening in the pop culture, who has booths there, what stuff is happening, what products are out there. Do a little bit of like recon, and then hang out Thursday night. So whoever wants to get together Thursday night, that's the night to party.
With
And
Mark.
then Friday, I've got a half day work from home, and then I leave for Salem. Like my trip just like turned into, it should not have overlapped with New York Comic Con, but it did. So I'll be in Salem from Friday to Monday.
Oh, that's cool. I think it's hilarious. You're coming to my neck of the woods, and then I'm going to
Mhm.
yours.
We're going to see each other for minutes on Thursday if we're lucky. So depending on your schedule.
Like, honestly, if you're free in the afternoon, we can go meet Haley. It's totally fine.
I will try to find you for sure.
Okay.
Because that would be very cool. She was just in, speaking of Haley Atwell, she was in the latest season of Heartstopper, which just dropped. So I'm doing all my spooky season watch alongs, and then out of nowhere, Heartstopper drops, which for everyone in the chat, if you haven't seen Heartstopper, it is a British series based on a TV series
novel.
Based on the graphic novel about teens, they're in high school. A queer group of friends, basically. So there's some gays, there's some lesbians, we got some non-binary kids, we have an asexual kid who all go to high school, and the trials and tribulations of being like out and queer in modern day. And it's very sweet. It's like saccharine sweet, wholesome, the opposite of Euphoria. So there's like literally no sex. So on the scale of like, if you're measuring horror and you go from like Scooby-Doo to Hostel, like that's the range. Like this is the Scooby-Doo of like teenagers, whereas like Euphoria might be the Hostel, right? Like this is where we are on the scale, but it's very sweet. But the connection here is that Haley Atwell plays the aunt of Nick, who is the boyfriend of Joe Locke's character, because Joe Locke is the lead in the show. He's like 22 in real life, but convincingly plays a 16-year-old in the show.
Totally.
Yeah. So it is because he's very young looking and very skinny. So oh wow. And then so do you want to read the quote from Sherry?
Okay, yeah. Sherry says, for those in the Midwest, Cincinnati Comic Expo is this weekend. Lots of great guests, including Katie Sackhoff, Ming-Na Wen, Emily Swallow, and Simon Kassianides from Star Wars. So they're in The Mandalorian. Oh yeah, he's like a must get. I was so disappointed that Hot Toys didn't use his face sculpt when they made his figure.
It's weird. I wonder if they just wanted more of like a generic Mando, or maybe because they didn't realize he was going to be so.
Woves, which just kills me. It's like
I know
it's him. I swear.
But in season 3, he became way more of a character than.
True.
Yeah. So all right. So anyone in Cincinnati is required to find Sherry.
Go see Sherry.
Go see Sherry. And if you're in New York, you have to come find me. I'm only there on Thursday. It's a limited edition experience. And then the meetup is Friday. I believe we have. I'm going to see if we have the graphic for it. But
I think we do.
Friday in at the Moynihan Food Hall. Where's the thing? This is so frustrating. I don't know why this functionality, sometimes it works great and sometimes it doesn't. Here we go. All right, I'm going to put this on. There we go. This is the meetup for New York Comic Con, Friday, October 18th, 8 p.m., Moynihan Food Hall. That is near Penn Station. And the bar itself is called the Irish Exit. So hopefully none of us here will be there, but I know that lots of other people will be, including Kathy and several others who are coming into town from New York. So, and if you're in New York on Thursday, especially, shoot me a text, please. It'll be really fun.
Yeah, definitely. And go by the Kid Robot booth. They have cool shit.
I'm going to put this up on so there is a slew of hot men in the Star Warses that I need to meet. And Simon Cassanides is definitely in the top 5. Yeah, Spencer knows the list. So, yeah.
Practice makes almost perfect work.
Almost. Practice. So did you know the new phrase is practice makes progress? I found this out from my sister because that's what they're teaching the kids now. I like that.
I like that better than perfect because perfection is overrated.
That and you don't have as much anxiety. So that's New York Comic Con. So and you said Penguin panel.
Yeah.
Skip. You are behind on Penguin.
I am.
Mm-hmm. Are you okay if we talk about Penguin?
Oh, I love looking behind the screen.
Yeah. Can we go look? Can we talk about Penguin without spoilers? I think we can.
Oh, no.
Wait a
I
minute.
want the spoilers.
Well,
yeah.
Last night's episode, I don't want to say.
Yeah, we might have to hold off on spoilers because I totally forgot there was an episode last night because I just took a painkiller and fell asleep because
that's right.
I was beat to hell.
I will say last night's episode might have been my favorite of the show so far, and I realize we're only like 4 episodes in.
Yeah, we're about halfway now.
Oz is barely in it, but the Hangman, our favorite lady, it's her episode. It's all her, like carrying the whole episode, and damn.
So we're going to Arkham?
We are going to Arkham.
Yeah.
So anything you saw in the trailer with her in Arkham gets explored, how she got there, et cetera, et cetera. Like it also picks up from where the last episode left off with the holdup at the end, with Oz and her at gunpoint. So it is so insane. It's a crazy, crazy show. But okay, so for everyone in the chat, watch Penguin. Also in the spooky season sort of arena, Agatha. Are we all caught up on Agatha?
Yes, that I am caught up on.
Okay.
Skip needs to catch
up. I
up.
am not, but I'm all right. I've been working too much. Not enough play. I will get caught up.
Understood.
Okay. You're a busy man. You got things going on. It's totally
Ashley, you know the comics well. What is your feeling on Agatha right now? Because oh man.
So not only do we have the spoiler alert for those who haven't caught up on last week's episode of the beloved Agatha All Along, we have the return of Agatha's mother, the ghost of Agatha's mother, Eleanor. So, yeah. She's scary as hell, and scary, crazy shit happens. This is why we don't mess with Ouija boards, my friends. But we get the big reveal, and I'm sure you've all seen it on social media. Marvel's been hyping this up with Billie Eilish.
Poster drop today.
You should see me in a crown. I was just like, yeah. So we find out that teen is Billy Maximoff, son of Wanda Maximoff and Vision. How he got there, I have my theory. The theory kind of happens in the comics. So what happens is in the comics, Billy and Tommy, the twin sons of Wanda and Vision, were projections of the demon Mephisto, and Wanda finds out, and not only do they get destroyed, but they are reincarnated into 2 other humans given birth by 2 other women, Billy Kaplan and Tommy, I can't remember his last name, but Billy is Billy Kaplan. And I think what happens here is we see in the trailer of the upcoming weeks to come, the car crash, the kid is killed in that car crash, and the spirit of Tommy is reincarnated into that boy and he becomes Billy Maximoff.
Mhm.
So he is witchy for a reason, and that crown is just serving it because it's so crazy. The electric powers, how smart he was to not use his ability directly on Agatha to lose his power, but to kind of possess Jen and Lily. I can never say her name. Patty LuPone's character
Mhm.
to throw her and just handle the business. So
That was
yeah,
wild. His
so
eyes were
scary.
glowing blue. He used his powers on Zashir and Patty LuPone. That way he's not using his powers on Agatha, because when you use your powers on Agatha, she can steal them from you and kill you. And it's sort of
As we
partially in
saw
her
with
control,
poor
partially not.
Alice.
Yeah. Oh,
See, I
Alice,
always think of
R.I.P.
Agatha and Reed Richards and Reed and Sue Richards, Franklin. That's the one that
Yeah.
I would remember. Not so
Yeah.
much Reed and the Scarlet Witch.
Well, we don't know if they're going to use her in that time frame yet. So that would be interesting if they did. Have
Yeah,
her
it's interesting.
handle Franklin.
It's interesting with these like C-level and D-level characters, how far you can stretch them from the core comic lore, right? Because a lot of people are like Agatha Harkness, the babysitter to Reed Richards' kids, like that kind of thing, right? Or sort of surrogate to Wanda's kids, like just some old lady, and she gets burned at the stake. And look, I know most of my knowledge coming from like Screen Crush and New Rock Stars more
Right.
so than actually having read it. It's more like reading the Wikipedia than reading the comic. And so it's like, oh yeah, like Nicholas Scratch and the Salem 7 and for them to pull this stuff in
Yeah.
into the MCU, I don't know that source material because it is like deep cut source material.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, we're getting some witchy goodness,
House of M.
Yeah, like everyone, but here's the thing: everyone knows House of M, but like they don't know the smaller scale kind of comic stuff, right? Like you
Right.
know who Wanda is, but you might not know the version where she and Vision actually move to the suburbs and have the kids, like that particular story
Right.
run, which is kind of where they took a lot of WandaVision from.
Yeah.
But like you can play with those characters a lot more, and that's what I love with what Agatha and her crew is like. No one's like ruining Spider-Man by playing with these characters because
Yeah.
who knows who Jennifer Hale is? She's in like 5 comic appearances, and she's like a white woman with blonde hair. Zajir Zameda is the best casting they could have ever done because
I
like
love
she
her. She's
crushes
so
it in
good.
every scene.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. But like if
But-
you change a character that dramatically who's like an A-lister, like that could get backlash from the fandom, or you stray too far from the source material. Here, they just kind of like took the idea of some of these characters. So I don't know what they're going to do with Wiccan. I think they're going to
Young
somehow
Avengers.
still. I think Young Avengers is coming, right? I think we did this count once where it was like who's all been revealed in Marvel
Yep.
on
Kate
the
Bishop
Young Avengers side.
right now.
Kate, Ms. Marvel,
Ms.
Kate,
Marvel. Well, now Wiccan. We're gonna have a Hulkling at some
Hulkling.
point.
Isaiah Bradley's grandson.
Yeah, we see him for
Um,
like a hot minute in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
It's
Iron
gonna
Lad.
be- yeah. So,
So
and who
yeah,
knows?
there's-
Maybe Iron Lad will be.
America Ferrara.
Yeah.
America
America
Ferrara. Oh my God, I
Ferrara.
keep doing that. America
America
Chavez.
Chavez.
Yeah.
I mean, she's doing yogurt commercials now. Who knows?
America
Maybe
Ferrara. She can lead the team. I love
That's
her.
right. Absolutely.
Spider-Man in theory, like anyone under 25. So yeah, there's right. We've got Hulk's
Yeah.
son, who is not Hulkling, because Hulkling is a Kree, or Kree, or one of them. Not Kree, the other one, the shapeshifter.
Skrull. Yeah.
Skrulls. See, I've like blocked all that shit out of my head because yeah.
That's a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So, Sisters
But
of the Traveling Avengers.
I think right now we're like spooky season's in high gear, right? I'm doing all my horror watch-alongs.
and this
I'm
episode
loving Agatha.
was definitely horror things.
Yeah.
Like between like the spooky cabin, the weird poltergeist TV with the fuzz, and then
Mhm.
like the demon possession that was straight out of Evil Dead. It was just
Yep, and
like
Poltergeist. The Ouija
whoa.
board. It was really
Oh my
well done.
god. Oh my god.
I've also watched a couple of really good horror movies. I watched one on Netflix just the other night. It's called It's What's Inside, which is a weird title because there's 2 contractions in there. It's What's Inside. And it's very young and fun. And less of a horror movie and more of like a things go awry kind of movie. So I would call it like almost like a Blumhouse kind of horror, like entry level. There's a body count, but it is a lot of fun. So I recommend that. And then I also watched Oddity, which is very spooky and set in England, and it's very independent kind of horror,
All the spooky
sort of
stuff happens in
single
England.
location kind of thing. So which I love. So
You were definitely into the. I'm sitting here like going, "Wow, I am so out of this conversation," because you two are on this level of Agatha and the spooky movies. To the. Oops, did I lose you guys?
Nope, you're here.
you're good.
Yep. See, all of a sudden you two weren't moving, and I said, if you're not both moving at the same time, that means I am out of here.
We'll just consistently
keep
sit here
going
like
like
this, so we know.
Yeah, I was
not
I was
moving.
talking to you, and you were so intently watching me, and I was like, "Nah, I'm gone."
What? Like
I
we would
finally open
care
my
about
mouth
what
and
you
say
have to
something,
say?
and my signal goes poof. I overloaded the signal. That was too much talking for my bandwidth.
Oh my God, you're
Fine.
good. I
No.
told someone recently I don't watch sports, and I think compared to all my like straight guy friends, where all of their bandwidth time, whether it's phone or TV or whatever, sports takes up a lot of it. If you're a baseball fan, there's like 150 games. If you're a football fan, there's only 16 games, but they're each 4 hours long, and they're all day too, right? Because you watch every team.
Yeah,
Like,
there's multiple
yeah,
teams every
it just
day.
it goes and goes. I'm like, I don't have any of that. That whole stream of content doesn't exist for me. So I can watch multiple scary movies and all the other geek stuff, the wraparound content. Like
Yeah.
I think I've watched 7 videos since I watched Agatha. Like of recapping. I've recapped the recaps at this point because I keep
Yeah.
hearing Wiccan's origin story from the comics 15 times now. I could do it verbatim. Like it's kind of crazy. And I haven't
then,
read a comic in forever.
and then we have this. Speaking
Oh,
of
Rhode Island
comics,
Comic Con. Girl, I've got to meet her. I'm so excited.
Madison.
Madison, the best. If only Wongers were there
One
too, we'd be in
Y,
business.
2
Well,
N's, but it's not where you think.
We
She's
do
so
need
crazy.
we do need to get together as a crew and
We
plan
do.
Rhode Island Comic Con, because I started writing down who I plan to meet, because there's some interesting Rebels guests and some Clone Wars people. So James Arnold Taylor, D. Bradley Baker, Katie Sackhoff, and Matt Lanter are all getting added to my Rebels poster. But there's a bunch of people from Clone Wars. Everyone I listed there, plus Ashley Eckstein, Greg Sipes, and there's a few others. T.C. Carson was just added.
Yeah.
And there's other Star Wars people too. So it'll be a grand time at Rhode Island. Hopefully, Skip, you can make it up there since you didn't get to go to
I'm still trying to
ICCC.
figure out how to get there. It's
I
more
have-
about the time and everything else. But it's
Yeah.
like, and I had written it off. I was like, I'm going to ICCC, and then I'm going to Disney on the 5th, and so Rhode Island's out, and then all of a sudden, wash away Interstate 40, and now I'm going. I got to get me a fix. I need a fix. I need a fix.
Yep.
Oh
Well,
man.
You have about 2 weeks. Like that soon. We can helicopter you out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get Greg Biffle, who's been flying materials in. Say, hey, can you fly me up to Rhode Island?
We'll do it. Someone in the group help out Skip. Let's get him out to Rhode Island. And with that, we are at about the halfway point of our episode. So we did want to get rolling into Clone Wars. So everyone cue up your Disney Plus. And while we're doing that, we can talk a little bit about the episode that we're going to watch together. We're early in the watch along, right? It's season 1, episode 2. It's called Rising Malevolence. I'm going to put up the graphic right here. Malevolence. I don't know what is wrong with me. This is General Grievous's premiere in the series, which is a lot of fun because he's got a lot of energy and a lot of dialogue, and he's a lot in this show. And here's the official description. Ashley, do you want to read the description?
Sure. Creating panic throughout the galaxy, a devastating separatist mystery weapon terrorizes this clone star fleet. Anakin and Ahsoka race to save Jedi Master Plo Koon and his clone troopers in time. What's happening?
And then this is the moral. Belief is not a matter of choice, but of conviction. So I'm like, okay, I like that. Going back to the description, we get Ahsoka. That's great. We get Anakin, also great. General Grievous, terrific. and then Plo Koon,
Master
one of my
Plo
favorites.
Koon.
Love Master Plo Koon.
You and
Deep
Dave
Cut
Filoni.
Jedi, he's on my list. You know.
Hmm. It's gonna be a good one. We don't get to see Plo Koon too much. I think this is the first time we see him in Clone Wars,
Mhm.
outside of obviously the prequels, and we get more backstory with him. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And he's also voiced by the awesome James Earl Taylor.
Mhm.
And it's a very different voice than
Yeah.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. So
Also, I didn't know he
You
was
can get him to
Johnny
do this
Test.
voice when you see him in Rhode Island.
what's that?
I said you can get him to do this voice when you see him in Rhode
Oh
Island.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. And he could jump right into it.
Yeah.
His show at Disney parks back when they used to do Clone Wars weekends, he had a show called Obi-Wan and Beyond, or something like that, and he did all of his different voice work, and he would jump between the different voices. It's unreal, like
Wow.
how easily. It's kind of like T. Bradley Baker, the way
With
they
all
can
the
just,
Bad Batch.
yeah, it's wild.
Like it. Hi, Ray. Happy Canadian Thanksgiving.
Is it Canadian Thanksgiving?
Yes.
Oh, happy holiday! Yay!
Get yourself
Um,
some Canadian turkey, eh?
Nice. All right. Everyone get ready to queue up your Disney Plus season 1, episode 2, Rising Malevolence.
It's fine.
can't.
We knew what you meant.
Get the syllable in the right place.
You know, so exactly.
Right emphasis
And
on the wrong syllable.
enunciate the right place. Oh my God, why is this not going down? Gonna do the countdown in just a second. That's the 30. Where's the 10? You can tell.
I
Having a
can count.
great start. I got it. All right, I'm gonna hit the countdown. And at the end of the countdown, everyone get ready to hit your Disney Plus so we can watch the episode.
I hit play at like the 7 mark, and now it's finally past the spinning blue circle, and we get the Clone Wars logo. So, yeah.
Mine, the Clone Wars just flew for me, so I'm probably a couple seconds behind.
Ugh, I
Yeah.
miss Tom Kane.
Belief is not a matter of choice, but of conviction.
The clone design and everything is still very much like the micro series, like how
Mhm.
angular and langy, like, you know, gangly they look. We always start with the ships.
Yeah, it definitely sets the scene. Yeah, so Malevolence is the name of the ship, and it seems to be that every time this ship encounters a clone army or whatever, it wins. So this is a big problem. This particular piece of technology is turning the tide of the war.
To me, it's kind of jarring to see these clones being like, you know, obviously Republic uniforms, but how the Empire just took those Republic uniforms and just turned them for something bad.
Hmm.
It's very jarring to me.
And like borderline lazy, you know? That's like, we have to convert this whole government. Don't redesign it too much. It is cool to just see Plo Koon. Especially because in the prequels, we didn't get nearly enough action from any of the Jedi. You know, or I should say the alien Jedi especially. So Anakin, Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, Mace Windu, they like said and did things, but if you were wearing even like the tiniest bit of makeup or a mask or something, you were basically a costume on a mannequin, like walking around sometimes, but not doing a whole lot. Even Yoda doesn't have a ton of screen time. And I realize it's not particularly his story, but the Clone Wars really help bring to life these characters. Like we get more screen time of Plo Koon in this one episode than in all of the prequels combined.
Hmm.
So this is
Well,
the
Filoni is his advocate because Filoni's
Yeah.
favorite Jedi is Plo Koon.
Hmm.
and of course Plo Koon is the one who brings Ahsoka into the fold, right? So he's always going to hold a special place, in the Jedi Order and in the hearts of the fans for sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure at one point we finally put James Arnold Taylor on a Plo Koon autograph card because we always had him sign as Obi-Wan, but I'm
Yeah.
sure that he has some like Plo Koon autographs too. Yeah, because he's such a great character.
So good.
Do we have the timestamp up? So just in case somebody jumps in late, they can
Oh,
catch up.
nuts.
Oh, crap. I forgot.
I didn't do it. Let's see where we are. I am roughly at, I won't say, 14:15. Is that right? No. Oh my God, I'm at 3:55. I was going to say we're not 14 minutes in. I'm at 4:01.
I'm looking at it on my phone, so all I can see is
Yeah.
how much time I got left, not how much time I'm in.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not coming up on mine.
Damn it. All right.
And I'm a little
I will-
off because of the bandwidth issue I'm continuing to deal with.
Yep.
Because I didn't
no
see the whole
worries.
10.9.876. I saw it for 2 seconds, and I was like, "Did we start? Did we know start? Okay, I started."
All good. Catherine, we're at 4:30 right now. Yeah, we have to get that sorted for next week. Yeah, so the thing that took down the ship, basically like an EMP, right? Like it disabled all the electronics, including the shields. And then they were able to just fire upon the ships and it tore them up.
It's so weird to see Palpatine standing between Obi-Wan Kenobi and and Mace
Yeah.
Windu.
And having a conversation with Ahsoka.
I still hate that two top. I really do.
It looks like a headband. Just like, everyone's so angular. I can't get over just how, like, like rendered everyone looks. It is fun to just hear him call her Snips, though.
Sky Guy, Snips.
Mhm. This is another good episode for seeing the humanity of the clones. There's, even though we just killed a whole bunch of people, there's like a good 3 or 4 of them that we spend some time with, hanging out with Plo Koon while they're in the debris. Obviously, the Empire is going to send some battle droids to make sure there are no survivors, but right now, we get to spend some quality time with them. Mm. This is when they realize they're being hunted.
Yeah.
So now we have a ticking clock. So the structure of like the episodes, I mean, there's so many sort of screenwriting 101 kind of things, of course, especially as we remember that it is a kid show.
Yeah. Don't think
but
too
with-
deep.
Yeah, exactly. Ahsoka talking to the Emperor with all like 2 lines, then they're on their way. Just because everyone died every other time doesn't mean there might not be survivors this time. That's stupid logic. I mean, but he's like, "Ooh, so bold, go." That wouldn't convince anyone, but he's like, yeah, go off to your death, girl. I don't care. He's probably
Yeah.
able to sense that like you're a nuisance and I need to remove you from the chessboard. Because if the Emperor's playing the longest game, who needs to go? Yoda, Obi-Wan, and his new Padawan, right?
Yeah.
Like that's who you got to get rid of. You have to separate Anakin from everyone. Oh, and Padme, obviously.
Slowly eliminate the most important people in
Yeah.
his life.
Well, anything that gives him an anchor, they're basically trying to cut him loose so he'll be
Yeah.
floating around, and they can just kind of bing, bing, bing.
It's kind of like any good cult, right? Like they separate you from your friends and family and loved
Friends and
ones,
family.
isolate
number
you.
one.
Yeah, and then isolate and manipulate. Like this is good stuff. Like they're they're following the playbook.
There's a con man that lives here in Asheville that I've known a few of his victims, and they all said the same thing. They start off getting you away from friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
That's what narcissists do too.
Yep. Yeah, abusive relationships. That's like a hallmark of it.
Catherine, I would freak out if he shows up in that armor. I would be like, so good.
Yeah.
That needs
would
to
be a
happen.
moment.
Also, did you guys see this little sneak peek from her universe today on the photo shoot?
No.
They're giving us a new Obi-Wan inspired hoodie and a Duchess Satine inspired wrap dress. It looks so cool.
That
So-
is. I
Finally.
love the but like that is some deep cut nonsense. They must
And
know
I
something.
love it.
I love
Love
it. I love it too.
Well, also that
Now I'm
Obi-Wan.
gonna have to go look for that text message.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
put it in
I'm
the
sure it's in my email. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a behind the scenes of a photo shoot for their upcoming fall collection, and those are the
Mhm.
two that were in there. And I was like, oh my
That's
god,
fantastic.
hot
I need
toys. Duchess
I
Satine
need
needs a figure. Just saying.
that too. Where the hell is my Black Series Duchess Satine?
Why don't we
Um,
have one of those?
I don't get-
Honestly,
well, here's the
how?
thing, because she hasn't made it to live action yet, and I think
Ugh.
that's part of the problem, right? Where, if they had a live action Duchess Satine in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, like I wish they had, I'll put it on my list of things that I didn't like about that show. But like that's a big miss, and they could have done that. But look, they gave us live action Bonnie Piez. Like we got a lot of things that
Yeah.
were great out of that
And
show.
we didn't want to
so-
do too many flashbacks because where Satine isn't in the picture at that point of the
I know.
story.
It's
I
just-
totally get it, and we don't want to Boba Fett this madness. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
ugh.
Please. Oh, there we go. There go the survivors. This is brutal. I forgot how
Rude.
brutal this is. It's kind of amazing.
How did they get a
Um,
lot worse? They just sucked some people out into space. How does that get worse?
Yeah. That planet is so red too. It's like the pit of hell just waiting for you.
I almost thought it was Mustafar. Yeah, right, Dave? Honestly. Like, we must work together. Oh, I'm going to order
No,
66
I don't think
you.
they make it because Plo Koon ends up in space at one point, but could still breathe or whatever, and it all seems a little ridiculous because it is the vacuum of space. Like you should die instantly. Like,
Yeah.
come on now. Jedi or not, and whatever alien species he is. But yeah, he survives.
Honestly, if they make a Duchess Satine Hot Toys figure and I'm going to pair her,
I'm gonna buy a
With my-
case.
with my Mando Obi-Wan so I can cry every time I
Mhm.
look at him on the shelf.
I still have to get to a convention because the last time I got to see Anna was in 2022
I'd love to meet
And-
her.
in Anaheim at Celebration. She was in like the secondary location thing, like the after hours kind of thing they did.
Yeah.
And I didn't bring my poster with me. I should have, but I didn't. But there was really no one there from Rebels. And then they announced her late. And even though she's in one episode, and it makes more sense to put her on a Clone Wars thing, I bought an 8x10. But I should have brought my Rebels poster and just
Yeah.
had her sign it. That's why I'm like, you know what, James Earl Taylor and Matt Lanter, they're going on the Rebels poster. Like everyone's going on the Rebels poster. If you're like even near that show. And so I got to get Anna on there. I have to put Julie Dolan on there still. And,
Yeah.
because I met her at San Diego Comic-Con last year and just bought an 8x10 at the table because, again, I didn't bring my poster. I was like, damn it, this is ridiculous. So Rhode Island, that's the plan. 4
It's
signatures
happening.
being added. Yeah. James, D's not on there either. Katie and
For
Matt.
shame.
I know.
Shit.
But then here's
I
the other
missed an
thing.
opportunity to get Brent Spiner on my Rebels poster
Oh, that would have
in
been
Richmond
cool.
last year.
Well, he was at Rhode Island last year too.
Yeah,
That's
he
where
was
we
in
met him.
Richmond. He was in Richmond last year too.
He does the con circuit quite a bit. Considering he's someone who I think like probably has a lot of money from Star Trek, he does the con circuit quite frequently.
Not only
Um,
that, Independence Day,
Yeah, he's been on a ton of stuff.
Gargoyles. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen to the Scream lineup though at Rhode Island Comic Con. David Arquette, Dermot Mulroney, Jamie Kennedy, Laurie Metcalf, Matthew Lillard, who I've met already, Roger L. Jackson, Rose McGowan, Skeet Ulrich. Come on now, these are the heaviest of heavy hitters, and there's more than that. But those were the ones where I was like, well, if I get a Scream poster, none of them are in the same movie, really, like because they're all, they got a lot of Ghostface killers on this list actually,
Yeah.
but they're not all in like there isn't like a Scream franchise.
Also,
poster.
like Roger
you know.
Jackson is the voice of Mojo Jojo in the Powerpuff Girls,
Mhm.
so he's a voice actor as well. The
Yeah,
only thing
he's
I'm
always
kind of-
working too.
I'm kind of bummed about is like not being able to, meet the Avatar cast. I know they just started filming seasons 2 and 3, so they had to pull out of Rhode Island, and that made me kind of sad. But yeah,
Yeah, I'm considering the Scream thing, but it's so expensive. Like, I don't want to spend $1,000 on a poster with autographs. Like, this is ridiculous. The Rebels one I've been working on, and it's something that like is something.
it means a
like,
lot
I've, like
to you.
lived this for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So, but I was actually thinking, should I just start getting this signed? The
There's
Clone
not a
Wars-
lot of. It's really cool, but there's not a lot of space on that.
It's my one.
Um,
Yeah.
Do you have a Clone Wars finale poster? Were you able to get one at all?
No, I don't think I did because I wasn't at any press events. I was always working.
Maybe like check eBay and
Yeah.
see.
Maybe that would make sense. I don't know.
Because
I don't know
the
if I
one
can
that looks
start
like our background, like that would be
Yeah.
really cool.
Oh no, I know what you're talking about. I'm in the camp of like if I don't want to start a Clone Wars one. This is the struggle, right? Everyone in the chat because like Clone Wars and Rebels actually shares quite a number of people. And in theory, I should put James and Ashley and Matt on a Clone Wars thing. Ashley's already on my Rebels poster. I don't need their autograph this many times on this many things. I love them all, but
Yes, you do.
yeah, I can't. Especially because
No,
I'm not
I
a flipper. Like everything I have is like personalized for me and part of my
Yeah.
collection. And I always joke that like, well, at some point as I get old, I'm gonna have to find someone else named Mark and like will it to them. So,
Well, they have ways to take off the names now with
yeah,
stuff.
you
and
do with
things.
hand sanitizer.
What
That's, like,
is
the easiest way.
that? Skip, what is that?
Ooh, very
That
nice.
is- Yeah, that's what you get. Like I feel like that's like required.
Yeah,
Oh, you guys are so tough.
very nice.
So tough.
Talking about like getting their autographs a few times.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, you've met them multiple times. Yeah.
Love it.
They did both check in on me during all this stuff.
That's so cool. So who's in that
That's
one?
nice.
I see James.
That is Carrie Jones, Katie, Giancarlo, and Rupert.
Oh, cool. So that's from Celebration 22.
Yes, I think so. Hold on.
Oh, yeah, because that's the only
Okay.
time Rupert has really done a con.
22.
That's
So that's
awesome.
20. Yeah, Rupert and I got into a conversation about the prices of steel. Don't
He's
ask.
just talking to the Grand Inquisitor about steel prices. It's fine.
And
Love it. Wow.
yeah, we had it was funny. We always do this. I always get in the conversation of what do I do for a living because they already know that I know what they do for a living. So it all becomes about what I do for a living, and then it's like, so do you have supply chain issues? And I said, yeah. I said, and steel's one of those. And I said, you can get a steel price for 24 hours. That's it.
That's insane. Plo Koon just chilling out in the nether regions of space. By the way, the texture on his mask and his face is just like, it's so creepy. I'm sorry, but it is.
I know. Yeah, he's definitely scary looking, and that was one of the reasons Filoni wanted him to be the one to bring in Ahsoka, and then the woman who is trying to kidnap her and deceive her to be beautiful, so that you could teach kids like the look doesn't determine
That's really good.
someone's intentions.
Significance.
And I was like, oh, I really like that because this creepy, scary alien man was the good guy, and like the beautiful woman was like the villain of that
The
story.
slaver, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, right. She was a slaver. Couldn't
Mhm.
remember. I knew she was a bounty hunter of types, but I couldn't remember like where Ahsoka would have been headed. Although, if you're a slaver, do you really want to actually bring a Jedi? I feel like they're going to immediately start a revolution, like and take down your whole network. You can't control them. Like, there's no like shock collar thing that you could put on a Jedi that would actually really take them down a peg. You know?
Yeah, it's like
Oh.
pour the gasoline and throw in the spark.
Yeah, it's a bad plan.
Oh,
See, all the other clones, don't worry, they didn't order 66M. They just died in the, vast emptiness of space. No big deal.
that's
The
horrible.
body count in this episode is off the charts. This is more than all of Rebels combined, basically.
It's an ion cannon. Oh,
Yeah, it's like an EMP, right?
yeah. It just takes out the shields.
So now they think it's just space junk.
And R2's having a freak out back here. I don't see you consoling R2, Anakin. Rudeness.
It's a huge ship.
Ooh, yeah. Matt Wood chewing the scenery once again.
Always. I love him. Oh my god, attach, attach! They do a good job capturing the tension here.
Oh,
And
yeah.
this is also a little bit of a trope in Star Wars, where it's like floating around in the garbage.
Han
we
Solo
tend
did
to
it
do this.
first.
Yep. Mm. Oh my god.
Way to go. Always the medical droid. Hi, Lonnie. Lonnie, we wished you a happy birthday last week, but you weren't on. We turned R2 off. Come on, you guys. You're welcome. And David says Han did it first in production order, but not chronologically.
There we go. Production order is king. I'll die on that hill.
Mm-hmm.
I saw another meme. I think I've shared this meme already, where it was like, weird hill to die on, but at least you're dead.
Dang.
Out of there.
So stressful. I just noticed now that the top of Ahsoka's montrails make like a star when seen from above. The 2 stars.
Out of there. Take them anywhere. Just program. It doesn't even matter. Mm. Mm.
I love how it says those in Massachusetts and beyond may be treated to a once in 80,000 years sight in the sky. And it's like, it's been cloudy and raining all day. We can't see anything.
Is this the Aurora Borealis?
No, the comet on the horizon. It's supposed to
Who
be
can
up
keep
there
track?
for a week.
Meanwhile, let it hit the Earth at this point. It's really like
Well, the whole Northern Lights, I was like, hold on, you can go outside, but the only way you can see it is if you take a night shot so that the filter exposes it. And I'm like, but if I'm not using my camera, I'm not seeing it. And it's not there.
I read that, but like certain places you could see it with the naked eye, but most places you couldn't. But here's the thing, it's sort of an accidental Aurora Borealis. Like the reason we can't really see it on a regular basis or whatever is like this is a solar flare. So it's like temporary and like a little bit weird. So, and also not particularly great that like, you know, it was at a coronal mass ejection, right? So like a sort of explosion from the sun came like rocketing at the planet, and luckily our atmosphere stops it from burning us to death. But like, it's like, oh, fun little lights.
Yeah.
These are gonna keep
Yay!
wars.
Not getting torched.
Don't worry, the planet isn't heading toward extinction as we speak. But then I talked to my parents, and they're like, we remember the oil crisis of the 70s. Every generation thinks they're going to be the last, and we're still going. So.
Yeah, but they didn't have this, so.
True. Yeah.
Pretty radiation. Absolutely.
Gorgeous. The other meme that was making its way around was Linda Hamilton at the fence, and it's like everyone trying to watch the Aurora Borealis, and you know it's from Terminator 2.
Yeah.
It's great stuff. And also the heat in October. It was 80 degrees the other day. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I saw your rage post about it. Like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dave O'Neill. We get in it sometimes, just like Lonnie said. I was like, because I'm also, as a reminder to everyone in the comments, we are not watching these episodes before we watch them with you. With Rebels Revisited, Ashley and I would often watch the episode the night before, a couple of days before. We would take copious
or
notes.
Just have such knowledge of it from watching it repeatedly that we just had to talk about it.
And we made it a point on that show to go like deep into analysis and Easter eggs, and we would talk about what was discussed on Rebels Recon. Here is more of like a winging it and kind of in the moment and reacting. So it feels like this is more of like New Rockstars The Break Room versus a New Rockstars Easter egg video, if that summarizes it. So it's a kind of different approach to the show. And I'm enjoying like sort of reliving it live, being like, oh yeah, that ion cannon like killed all those clones and Plo Koon is floating through space. That's stupid. Like, and then they're floating through the trash. Like there's like weird fun stuff.
It's so weird. And it's like, it's also sad because like you see the destruction that General Grievous and Count Dooku are willing to place on the Republic. And also like how Palpatine is like, no, they must go. They let them do what, and it's like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But it's just, you see like the brutality and the fact that they see the clones as collateral, and it's just, it's heartbreaking. And when he asked them if there's any survivors, and he's like, this is it. Just breaks my heart.
Yeah, if you care about the clones.
As Dave says, it's a kid's show.
Yeah.
Yep.
Today we learned about cruelty.
Yeah. The body count in this episode was really big, more than I remember. And we're in episode 2, you guys. I thought episode 1 was off to a good start, but like this feels more Clone Wars-y than the first episode.
Yeah. It was just like, what can Yoda do? But yeah. Lonnie says, especially now knowing more of Dooku's history from Tales of the Jedi, it makes it even sadder. Yeah.
I'm a fan of Dooku. I like his story. That scene with him at the tree in Tales of the Jedi was like, that's heartbreaking. But
that's most of the heart that I've seen come from him, and just like the absolute callous cruelty, monstrosities that he's committed since then. It's just like, you can't be that disillusioned with the Jedi to just completely say the hell with life and just snuff
how
it
do you
out.
get to that point? It seems like it's too far. Which is, he's irredeemable. The same way I think a lot of the big bad villains would have been. Darth Maul, like, and on the other hand, Barasafi seemed highly redeemable. You know, Dooku not so much.
Anakin's creation into his evil self was more believable than Dooku's, was it? Or at least that's my opinion.
Nope, I agree.
Yeah.
But then again, they spent more time creating that one.
That's always the hard part, is like how much content, how much time, how much content, how many different ways of examining the story did we get? Like, we've spent so many years now with Anakin as Vader, and so they just keep adding to that story too, and it gets more and more tragic. But Dooku, he's in the one movie, and he's in a little bit of the Clone Wars. There isn't a ton of supplemental content, but I do like him as a character. I find him fun.
Yeah. Spencer. It's not sadness. It's called Palpatine messing with her life force.
Yeah, he did something much more nefarious. And, you know, I think Anakin choking her looked like a great cover story to tell him, but like Palpatine definitely killed that lady. Like, who are we kidding? And after the kids were born, but yeah.
Really?
It certainly seems that way.
I just feel like she gave up. Like that her true love was gone, and she just didn't feel like living anymore.
No, I think she had children, and she was a very strong woman. And I really think it's either a testament to like bad writing, or like honestly, she just had the life sucked out of her, because there's no way she wouldn't be there for her child, or now as she knows it, 2 kids. So I just remember my ex-mother-in-law, when we were watching that movie, just muttering under her breath, "What do you mean you lost the will to live? You have babies. You don't lose the will to live," like in the theater. And I'm like, oh my God, this is savage. But yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Lonnie.
I think this is what's so frustrating about it, right? Because I think in the original movie, because now we're retconning, right? Like, I think in the original movie, George is a bad writer. Let's start there. He's a great world builder. He's a terrible writer. And when it comes to dialogue, he's terrible. And when it comes to women characters, he's particularly bad. He probably did think this woman was going to be so sad she would just die. And then some lady somewhere in the mix was like, oh my God, like, this is really inaccurate. We need to do something about this. And so now we spent 25 years trying to retcon this nonsense. Or not 20.
His daughter was like, Dad, no.
Yeah. Someone help. But like, there's what I do love about Star Wars, and it's also a double-edged sword because it gets really frustrating, is we do continue to expand upon the stories and retcon and revise. There's a lot of revisionist history. And I think in some cases we can correct stuff or expand further.
From a certain point of view.
Yeah, and we do the certain point of view stuff. Like, I think that the latest interpretation of Padme is that something must have happened to her at that point. Versus her body just giving out, or her will to live going away. I think the robot couldn't understand what was going on, because there's something mystical at work, right? If technology doesn't account for the situation, it must be mythical. And if mythical can't figure it out, technology usually solves it. Those are sort of the two sides of that. So there's some belief in the fandom that something mystical must have happened, meaning dark side. Right? Like, did Palpatine like finish the job? And then it gives you the way to be like, Anakin, you killed your wife. Like, come on now, or she's dead. You killed her. Remember, he says that's one of the lies.
Yeah.
That's one of the first lies he tells.
You killed her.
Yeah. So,
it's so dumb.
Yeah, and there's a lot of supplemental stuff in the books that I am not fully caught up in. It's not my area of expertise, mostly because like I don't really love the prequels. I don't. Not my jam. I think they're okay.
I love Ewan in it.
There are things to like about it. I love the world building.
You like the era, because
the era is cool. Yeah, and I love being in the Clone Wars right now, because like this is where it's at, you know, but not the actual movies.
I agree.
Certain characters, Darth Maul, awesome, mostly in Clone Wars. The Jedi Council, great idea. The fact that the Jedi, here we go, the separation of church and state, the fact that you have the Jedi aligned to the government and the chaos that causes and the way at which it unravels, and the
On the
cognitive
nose.
dissonance that this entire time period presents. We are actively rooting for the Republic, which we know becomes the Empire. Like, it's all flipped on its head. So it is meant to teach you like a terrible lesson, and it works. It's really good.
So does.
That stuff is
Yeah.
great.
Well, like you said, it's the world's his large scope vision. Good.
Mhm.
Down to the details, he starts falling
Yeah.
apart.
Big picture, excellent. Individual dialogue, terrible. At the same time, Anakin should feel clumsy around Padme in episode 2 because he doesn't know how to talk to women. He's been in a cult for however long. He doesn't know how to flirt. He's not allowed to
He
have
was a child
romantic
when
love.
he joined it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been obsessed with this one girl for however long. It's all very creepy. You watch it now, there's like a whole other lens about like him falling in love and falling like in love at first sight, which doesn't mean anything. He just thinks this girl is cute and she's significantly older than him. It's very unhealthy. Is infatuated with her and then does everything he can to get her. Doesn't know what to say, which is why he explains to her why he hates sand. Like, this is all very on brand. For like a boy of that age who like didn't mature emotionally, right? Yeah, he's going. Sherry, you're right. He's going after his childhood crush.
Yeah.
Like,
Seriously.
it's borderline embarrassing, but I think like Hayden played it that way, and I
Yeah.
think it's accurate. Like, I actually think his bad acting in that movie where they say he's like stiff and whatnot, I was like, no, that's how like a really incompetent guy
Have you
would
talked
try
to
to
a
ask out a
childhood
girl in
crush?
high school. Yeah, he's supposed to be in his 20, if that, right?
He
Like,
was like 19. in
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
pick your most awkward middle schooler, and that's where he is on the like development scale.
Maturity
Development
skill.
stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think
He's
it
a little on
works.
the spectrum.
He's a little on something, and it's the Jedi, it's the cult, right? So, whereas like we see in the Clone Wars, he's an excellent hero. He's a great tactician. He knows how to run an
He's a
army.
great pilot.
Yeah, he does all this great stuff, but then can't talk to women. There's actually a whole
Yeah.
series of like gym videos about this kind of stuff. If you guys are really into like fitness culture, and I just find like the fitness humor culture, right? Like, I find all of the gym stuff like a little bit exhausting, but there's all these videos of like guys who are like doing their big workouts and being all tough and doing all this stuff, and then they go to talk to a girl and they like freak out and then like leave the gym because it's like that overwhelming, right? But it's all done for laughs. But there's definitely that thing, right? Like, you can become an expert in your particular field. You can be a great pilot. You can do all these things that Anakin's capable of doing, and then have no riz, right? Have no ability to
No
speak to a
riz.
woman or anyone whatsoever, and you come across looking like a crazy person.
It's
Yeah.
true.
And what makes what makes her be attracted to him? Because he's obviously clearly so below her on her
Mhm.
emotional scale. You know.
Well, I have some thoughts. So, Lonnie, first of all, the age difference, I think she was 14 and I think he was like 9. So he's 5 years older, but as a percentage, it's significant. And it's the fact that he was like a child when he met her, and she looked a little bit older, like a teenager. So we could get the exact ages in Wikipedia, but it was creepy in episode 1. It's less creepy in episode 2. But yes, Spencer, I heard, what was the other thing I heard about Riz? Someone used Riz slightly differently recently, and it made me crack up. But
Oh,
here's
yeah,
my
that. Yeah. Anyway.
here's my thought. He's force dosing her without even knowing it. Jedi can manipulate your thoughts, intentionally or not. And I think we've seen people say, these are not the droids you're looking for, this and that, blah, blah, blah. If you're on someone like every day, like this, I think you can accidentally change their intentions. And so I'm wondering how much agency she even had in her attraction to him. And I don't even know if he was doing it. Like, I think that is how the Force works. And I think it's creepy. And that's why they're not really allowed to have these types of attachments, because manipulative people.
Like, can you imagine? Yeah.
Manipulative people in real life, we've all been in some type of relationship where someone has tried to manipulate us, could easily weaponize that. And before you know it, you've got your own little like
This went
adoring
really bad,
fangirl
really
slave.
fast.
Huh?
This went really bad, really fast.
Oh, I've had this theory for years. I've talked about this with I've been on podcasts like specifically about Attack of the Clones and how I think it's not a good movie, but the themes are underrated, and the biggest thing is that Anakin is like secretly dosing Padme. I know it's creepy, right? And I think
Yeah.
that she doesn't realize it. He doesn't even realize it. Like
Yeah.
the dark side of the Force is working that way because he wants it so much. He's like willing it to happen, and he's one of the strongest Jedi that ever lived. Of course, he's able to get this lady to fall in love with him because he's like manipulating her through the power of the Force.
And also, have you seen Hayden Christensen? Just saying.
He's tall, so there you go. Right off the bat, like, most people are going to say yes.
Blue eyes. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And by the way, you're a Jedi. That's fucking cool. Like, you know, I'll go on a date with a Jedi. Like, tell me your boring story. Sure. Like, yeah, you hate
Talk about
sand.
sand.
Ooh, so interesting. So interesting, sir.
He's an
I wanna
ugly
know more
looking-
about that.
He's an ugly looking fella.
Hayden Christensen. There's not one ugly Jedi in the whole movie. It's so funny. Everyone's
Yeah.
like really good looking.
Sorry.
Oh, I also think there's one other component of this. I think she pitied him. I think like literally she had pity for him in episode 1, and that then transformed from pity to different types of feelings. Like, yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know. I think she
that is
actually did
true.
love him at the end and was legitimately sad that he died and like really pissed that he you know, turned to the dark side. But I also think the better story would have been her falling in love with Obi-Wan Kenobi, or her thinking that or Hayden thinking that she and Obi-Wan were really out to get him. It comes up a little bit in the end where like
Yeah.
right off the bat, like she's like, oh, you're aligned with him.
You
he
turned
needed to
her
be-
against me. Blah, blah,
Right,
blah.
but he needed to be suspicious of the fact that like she was going to leave him for Obi-Wan because their relationship shouldn't have been so steady. Like my feeling is that like
Like, hello? Have you
put the
seen
two of them
yours?
next to each other. Ewan McGregor's the answer. Like
Huh.
every girl and every gay is like, what are we doing here? Ewan McGregor's right there. Why are you even looking at Hayden
No.
Christensen?
We love Jess. We love Vader's girl in the group, and we love when she posts her pictures with Hayden and over the years, and it just there is at least one Hayden fangirl. We know for sure.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Catherine.
But like they make much more sense to me. Like they're closer in age. They have a lot more in common. He's so much more emotionally mature.
Yeah.
Like it just everything. and he's so
But-
suave.
There is only one for Obi-Wan, and he is fully committed to the Jedi Council.
Well,
Yeah, I get it.
and that's the thing.
And
So
he wouldn't even go for Duchess Satine, and he
And-
even tells her.
And again, that's retconning, but he could
So
that could have been
Anakin-
his reason why he was never going to go there, and he'd have to reveal that to Anakin, being like, I had a girlfriend once, and it didn't go well. She's dead too. So the body count, ladies, is it worth it? This is your this is the big question. Is it worth trying to date a Jedi? Mm-mm.
So Anakin threw the big Force Haktui on
Whatever the
on
equivalent is.
Padme.
I
Oh
have
my
said
God.
the phrase what have I said it before? Less than consensual is how I described the beginning of their relationship, because I think that there's mind trick manipulation.
You
Again,
really think so?
all through the lens of retconning and reevaluating now 20 years later, knowing what we know.
No, they did not.
Who does he belong to? I think that here's the thing. I think if you actually need to do it now, they're not going to give Obi-Wan a kid, and as much as he could have a relationship with Satine, I think
Could
they'll
you
just say that.
imagine the rage?
No, I
that
know.
would
That's
cause?
why it just has to be Katie Sackhoff's kid. I think
Yeah.
ultimately, like we say that she's the aunt because there's no other sister. There's only two siblings. He can't have two aunts and no mom. What are we doing here? So yeah, I think that. But Corky Wan Kenobi is kind of awesome. But
Oh, Dave
He
says
is-
you went there, Skip.
I was trying to like slide away from that. But meanwhile, I'm
Somebody
kind of
was
obsessed-
sliding on it.
Well, you know, what? I'm kind of obsessed with that girl because she's kind of everywhere, and she does public appearances and stuff at bars and things, and raises money for like animal charities
grandmother,
and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, it's kind of unreal.
Lots of
She's like
teaching
really
jobs.
capitalizing on her moment.
Well, it's
and for,
because she
like,
lost her
good
teaching
stuff.
job. She had to capitalize on something.
So the
Good for her.
Corky
Not Haktui.
belongs to Katie. I think it is. I think it is Bo-Katan's son.
We need to approach Katie Sackhoff at the table at Rhode Island and be like, okay, we need your opinion once and for all, like the definitive concrete opinion. the only one that matters. Where do you think Corky came from? We need to ask her.
It's Bo-Katan's son. And I think from someone who isn't Mandalorian, which is why he was never real and wasn't going to be king. But like, I mean, that would actually be a better cover story for Duchess Satine, though, right? Like, since he was never going to be king or whatever. But I don't think it matters, like, because if it's not Obi-Wan and Satine's, like Bo-Katan having like a son that she doesn't really see. Meh. I love Corky. I wish he were the son of Obi-Wan and Satine, but I don't think it's happening.
I know.
Yeah.
But
Meanwhile, we are so over time, you guys.
we'll have to ask her.
We made it 2 episodes, and we've already like blown away.
And
the-
Yeah,
we're
but it's
already
not
back
like
to our
we're off
old-
topic. I'm just
We
saying.
are on topic.
We
We're
are
doing
on
a lot
topic.
of prequel discussion. Yeah.
I would keep us there, but I have no bandwidth. I can't tell what time it is.
No
Yeah.
worries. It is 10:15, and we do have to wrap up for tonight, though. This was great discussion, though. I want to keep the Corky discussion going. I want to keep the Anakin. Be on the lookout for Anakin manipulating people with the Force, and throughout the season, be on the lookout for his red flags of dark side usage. There's quite a number of them, and they are
Everywhere.
not subtle. They are
Ooh,
not subtle. Some of my
for
favorite moments,
sure.
though. Yeah. It's good
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
But this week on the VCN. So tomorrow we have happy hour as always. So come prepared to discuss Penguin,
Zoom.
Agatha, all sorts of fun stuff. Oh,
Life.
new trailer dropped for Agatha as well for the halfway point of the season. So that's where they actually say the name Billy Maximoff.
Billy Maximoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you should see him in a crown. The poster is wild. It is it is retouched, like magazine level retouching. That boy doesn't have a wrinkle. But the retouching on that photo.
22.
But I mean, we all have lines on our face. It is crazy the amount
Yeah.
of. There's also magic and shit and like just blue and he's got
Zappy
the crown.
zaps.
It's
Yeah.
all very
Lines,
refreshed. So the poster for the character poster for Wiccan, as he's now named.
He has to say it after 2 years. Finally.
Yeah, it's crazy. So be prepared to discuss Agatha and Penguin, which was great last night.
I
Highly
need to get that.
recommend.
I'll do it immediately once this is over.
It's a must watch for your girl.
Yeah.
And then Wednesday we have Daughters of the Galaxy. Spooky season continues with a re-air of the Sisters of Dathomir.
So I will be in the chat for a little bit. I have to get up really freaking early on Thursday, so that's why we're pushing for the re-air. But yeah, just make sure you come talk with me about the Witches of Dathomir and how spooky they are, having watched Ahsoka and Clone Wars and Rebels and seeing where they're going. So it's exciting.
And then continuing in our spooky season watches, we've got Ahsoka season 1, episode 7. So we'll get to see more of the great mothers who we love in that show.
Also,
then-
happy birthday, Claudia Black, today. One of
Oh,
the main
yes.
mother. Yes,
We gotta-
queen, sci-fi queen.
Yeah.
Darkscape.
Got to
Yes.
see her at a convention, hopefully at some point.
Oh, I know. Love her.
And then Sunday, the Jedi Archives, they have High Republic Adventures number 5, Now or Never Part 2. So the boys will take you through that comic. And then next Monday, we have Clone Wars Season 1, Episode 3. I will not be here, though. I will be in Salem, Massachusetts, participating in some witch trials, et cetera, et cetera. So the team will be managing without me, Ashley and Skip. Maybe Jeff, maybe Dave, maybe just an empty slot. And someone producing. We'll see.
Yeah.
But either way, it'll be fun. They'll do a watch along and take you through all the news of the week. I'm sure there'll be some stuff
The
because I
New
can't
York
imagine that
stuff.
Agatha isn't gonna a New York Comic Con. Oh yeah, and make sure you meet everyone on Friday for New York Comic Con.
Yeah, definitely don't miss that meetup if you're there. Come say hi. Come find us. We'll be around. Yeah, so that's gonna be it for this week, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll catch you guys next Monday on the Clone Wars the Clone Wars Revisited. It's so hard not to say Rebels Revisited.
I'm wearing a Rebel shirt, so
Yes.
I
Well,
gotta
I'm
get
wearing
more
a Clone Wars
stuff.
shirt. So, well, thank you guys, and we'll see you next week. Long live the Republic.
Long live the Republic.
Long
Bye,
live the
guys.
Republic.
Good night.